So hey, it's Bexus. Just a really quick note at the very start of this. This is a long video, so I do apologise. I have edited it already and taken out a lot of the arms and the thinking silences that we get, but I couldn't take out a lot of the conversation because it was just really interesting, I found, and very informative as well. So I hope you do like it. So sit back, relax, maybe make yourself a cuppa and enjoy the video. Hey there, Angry Ants. I am Bexus and welcome to my channel. Today we are discussing the battle of the sexes. So just to begin with, I don't have my normal backdrop because I'm going to have a Zoom chat with a trans man, and I'm just using my webcam obviously, and I was just too dark obviously where my laptop's positioned, so you don't get that beautiful backdrop that I normally have. So I do apologize for that. You just have to look at me and obviously my guest, whose name is Samson. He's a trans male, and we are going to discuss the difference of the genders, battle of the sexes. So what's it like being a male in today's society compared to a female? And I thought it'd be a great discussion because being trans male and trans female, we have lived both genders. Not entirely obviously, but to a certain point we have experienced what it's like as both genders. So I am right now going to introduce you to Samson. So I'd like to welcome Samson along for our discussion today in Battle of the Sexes, I suppose, or Battle of the Genders if you want to put it that way. But we're just going to discuss the differences between men and women from the point of view or perspective of a trans man and me, a trans woman. So we'll kick it off. Samson, just tell us a very quick background about yourself. So when you transitioned, how old you are, stuff like that. You don't have to give an exact age if you don't want to.
Hey everyone, as Bex has said, that I'm Samson, and I'm a trans man. I am currently 30 years old, and I started my medical transition when I was 26. So coming up to 5 years this year in July, on hormones. I knew from a very young age that I was different, and yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind of a journey, but we're getting there. Slow and steady wins the race. But yeah.
Absolutely. Well, for me, I'm in my early 50s. No, I was 52. I knew also from a very young age that I felt different. That would have been around the age of 4 for me. Like my earliest memories, I'm like, why do I feel like this? Why do I want to wear a dress and play with girls' toys, you know? But obviously when I was 4, it was 1971 and there was no internet. You know, there was no talk about it in schools or anything like that. Parents didn't discuss it, and I just kept it to myself and hidden. So I started hormones just over 3 years ago. So I'm pretty much a baby when it comes to transition. Very happy with my progress so far, though. Yeah, the girls are really good, which I'm happy about. Yeah, so that's my background. Look, the biggest question, the most obvious one for you, Samson, and I'll answer it as well after you. Mm-hmm. For you, what has been the biggest difference you've noticed between men and women?
Oh, I know, the million-dollar question, hey?
It is, isn't it?
I'm talking from a perspective of living as both sexes, because I could talk from that perspective quite easily. In the sense of, I feel like women don't have much of a voice in society, and women are seen as a secondary sex. And it's funny living both perspectives. You know, I used to think, like pre-transition, I identified as a lesbian, and I used to hang out with a lot of men, and I used to think, you know, I was one of the boys kind of thing. But it soon became apparent that after transitioning and, you know, passing as a man, it soon became apparent that the stuff that these boys were saying around me, because they didn't think a woman or, you know, somebody who had previously lived as a woman was there, was totally different to how they would talk to me when I was identifying as a woman. And some of the stuff is just somewhat makes you realize that some men in this world are chauvinist pigs pretty much, and makes you realize that it's not safe for a lot of women in this world, and that's sad because, you know, a lot of people just want to live their life and live it in peace, and they don't want to be ridiculed, and they don't want to have this backlash of being a certain sex and being seen as a second class because, you know, a man's in the experience of the world kind of thing. I think the biggest difference is women care and a lot of men don't. And it's sad because, you know, I want to lead the way as a trans man to say, you know, enough of this bullshit going on with like towards women, and it's just not something that I want to carry on, and I don't want to bring that perspective. I want to bring perspective of equality and equity to this world. I don't want, you know, people to have to go, oh, just because you're a woman, you're second class kind of thing. For women should be a lot brighter than it is now. I mean, it is getting there, but we've still got a long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's a hard question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I thought I'd just come out with that straight away. So
why not?
Look, the voice that you mentioned as a man compared to a woman, I haven't noticed as much, but I think that's because I spent most of my life growing up as a man, and I learnt that authority, I suppose. It was drummed. So I still, even I'm a woman, I still have that authority. But look, I have seen it, and how some people, some men in particular, you know, like think they have to explain things twice to you, and that, like, for example, I got a flat tire once, and I had this guy, oh, I'll give you a hand, you know, and maybe he was being chivalrous, but I'm like, I'm a Cert 2 tire fitter in the mines. Like I used to do.
I could do it myself.
I know what I'm doing. That being said, and you may have noticed the difference, I've lost a lot of strength. So there's another change. Like I have no way near the strength that I used to have since I've been on, obviously, testosterone blockers and estrogens. So I haven't, like I said, I haven't noticed the difference as much. Another example, though, I was coming home from work. My car was out of action for a little bit. So I was getting the tram home from work here in Surfers Paradise. And it was, I've timed it, it's a 7-minute walk from the tram stop to work. During the day, no problem. I've had these headphones on, listen to the music, obviously couldn't hear anything around me. And it's broad daylight, and I'd walk to work. I finished work at midnight. At midnight, I didn't put my headphones on until I was on the train.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
The safety, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to hear if someone's coming up behind me, where if I was still my old self, I wouldn't have cared. I would have had the headphones on, and also helps out of my black belt too. So,
I noticed that difference too, but in the opposite way. Yeah.
You don't. Oh, I suppose I'm more aware of my surroundings as a woman than I was when I was a boy. So that's definitely a difference as well. With the testosterone, I'm going to ask this because I've seen it in one trans man. I'm not going to name names or anything, and he may have changed a bit because obviously, you know, it's like with hormones, they hit you hard and fast at the start. Have you found you react different to alcohol? I actually didn't ever ask you if you drink. Do you drink?
I do drink, but that's an interesting question. I don't think I really reacted differently. Maybe I can hold more alcohol now without getting like drunk.
Okay.
But I feel like I carry it on my gut more afterwards. Like I get that bloatedness on my gut, but
yeah, I've got bad news for you. I've still got mine. So.
I would say maybe now I can hold my alcohol better without feeling that, you know, it takes me more to get drunk than it did before.
Yeah.
If I really thought about it, but like I haven't really put much thought to that, but that's an interesting question.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think I still hold mine pretty well, but I've had 30 years of free alcohol in nightclubs. I'm almost immune to it. So, but the reason I asked is that a trans male I know, and I've watched him drink a few times, and he gets aggressive, which there are some women who get aggressive when you drink alcohol. I'm not taking that away, but it's mainly a male thing. And I noticed
I'm not a fighter.
And I noticed it with him. He'd start getting aggressive and argumentative and that when he was drinking, and only when he was drinking. I'm like, gee, that's strange. Like, it's just something I remember, you know, I picked up on, and obviously I thought it related to this discussion today.
That's interesting. I guess testosterone in itself has been seen as like something that would make us more agitated or a bit more like aggressive. I don't feel like, yeah, it's interesting. Just when he drinks that it comes out.
Yeah. So obviously alcohol affects him in that way, which is more of a male trait, as I said. But I know some
Does
women.
he know? Does he know that?
I've told him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to be open.
And when I did tell him, he actually gave up drinking for a while.
Oh wow, good on him.
Yeah, good on him. Like I know he drinks again now, which is fine, and he's got it under control now too. I haven't drank with him for a long time actually. So,
yeah, oh, fair enough.
Which is cool. What do you think is the best part about being a man?
Apart from obviously feeling so at home in my body, like it's always meant to be like that. I guess for me, the best part about being a man is, well, that's a tough question.
No, you could do a top 3 if you want.
To be honest, I haven't got a pinpointed something that's like the best thing about being a man, but I guess if I could really pick it, it would probably just be like being seen as a man in general.
Yep.
Like, I'm not, and that just relates to, I guess, how my gender dysphoria works and stuff. But there's no real one best thing that's good about being a man versus being a woman. Yeah, tricky question.
It is. I'm good at that. Yeah. So, but for me, it was, I think I just love my femininity.
Yeah.
I love it. I embrace it. And sisterhood, I've discovered is, I was one of the boys.
Yeah.
I do boys trips and everything like that, and I had a ball, but I've found your girls' nights and stuff are a lot more fun. Yeah. There's less drama on boys' trips. There can be less drama on boys' trips because guys, they just don't care.
Not when I'm involved. Oh my God. I'll tell you a little story later, but
okay. Well, anyway, that's what I've found. And that's the thing. This is just a discussion between you and I. There's obviously people that do feel differently. So, but yeah, I've just found my femininity I love.
It's funny you say that because pre-transition, when I first started to transition, I wanted to like block all that femininity out of me. And then like, as I started to transition and get more comfortable in my body and how I was perceived in the world, my femininity came out more and I didn't care so much anymore.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's noticed it because they're like, oh wow, Samson's a bit more feminine than he used to be. And I'm like, you know what? I roll with it. Yeah. Don't bother me.
Yeah, care factor.
Exactly. But yeah, it's funny you say that, how you noticed your femininity, and I guess I noticed my masculinity a little bit more at the start because I was trying to block that femininity so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good question though. I like that.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh yes, the big one. Well, for me, one thing I've noticed in the difference of the genders is it is so much more expensive being a woman. Like unbelievably more expensive. You know, as a guy, I haven't brought men's underwear for a long, long time. Even before I transitioned, I used to wear women's underwear because it's one way I could feel like being true to myself.
Yeah.
So the fetish thing is just like, well, like nobody can see that and I'm being true to myself.
Yeah.
But I remember like the last time I brought men's underwear, I bought like a 7-pack for $20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'll spend that on just minimum that on just one bra, and then I always buy the matching underwear. I'm one of those girls, everything matches. So and yeah, obviously hair's more expensive, which I understand, you know, like most guys have short hair and I had longish hair as a guy. But you know, now I get it colored and things like that. So instead of paying $20 for a haircut, I'm now, you know, spending 150, 170 in the salon. And there's the other thing, there's nails, because they're gorgeous, you know, waxing.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah. And makeup obviously is very expensive. And even the little things that add up, like makeup wipes and stuff. Like being a girl is a lot of work. And that's the thing. Yeah, I used to get ready. I'd be ready in 5 minutes. Put on a shirt, pair of jeans, run a brush through the hair. Good to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
bit of like aftershave, like, yeah, I'm ready to go out.
Yeah.
Now, like makeup, well, I do my makeup in 20 minutes. I'm pretty happy with that. This is a
That's
20
good.
minute job.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I've got makeup and it just takes longer to get dressed because, it's winter. So, pantyhose and, then you got your bra and everything as well, putting that on, which you understand from when you were a girl. Like, yeah, it's just so much easier and cheaper being a man. But
Yeah.
I love all that aspect of having to get dressed up. The thing I hate out of all that, I don't mind putting my makeup on, even though it takes longer. I hate taking it off at night when you're really exhausted and you just
Yeah.
want
All
to
you
just,
want to do is jump into bed and
yeah. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh my God, I've got to take off my makeup and stuff. And it's like, you just don't want to, but you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess for me though, in the if you're talking like costly aspect, pre-transition, I was very like I guess butch lesbian, and so I never really wore makeup or anything. But there was definitely more products to go with being a female,
Yeah.
and yeah, a lot less expensive now.
Oh yeah.
I was always like a 5 minute job. I used to have like not at the moment, but like I used to have a really big mohawk, and I spend hours just trying to get it to spike up.
Oh, you punk you.
I know, I was. But yeah, I think being a man is a lot less expensive. Although I've added a few more products like beard oil and stuff like that. I guess it's just how suave I want to look on the day is
Yeah,
for what I
true.
use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Actually, it's sort of not battle of the genders, but one thing I don't like the beard. You mentioned the beard.
yeah,
It's one
yeah.
thing I'm so jealous of about trans men. I think from passing wise or appearance, they transition so much better than women, especially
Uh,
ones that are later on in life. Like your voice deepens, where
yeah,
ours. I've got
yeah.
to work on mine, and you get the facial hair, and once you've had that top surgery, and I've seen guys that just work out, and you would never in a million years pick that they were trans. You just
Yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah.
Where with a lot of trans girls, most of them, I'm one of the lucky ones actually, I'm really short, but a lot of trans girls are really tall, and that sort of, even though there are tall women, that makes them stand out. And the Adam's apple shows up for a lot, which mine isn't very noticeable at all. Another thing where I'm lucky. I'm actually, as for a trans woman, I know I'm quite lucky because I've got really good hair, good skin.
Unfortunately, for trans women, you girls require a lot more surgery to look feminine than us trans guys to look masculine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest disadvantage or advantage, if you want to call it, but that trans women have is trying to undo, what puberty has done.
Yeah.
If you're transitioning after puberty.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I know I'm lucky in that aspect because, I don't get pegged at all until I tell someone and they're like, oh my God, I would never have known.
I know, it's good when that happens. I've had it a few times, like I'll be talking and then it comes out that you're trans or something, like I don't hide my transness.
Me either.
That's a word, but I don't broadcast it to the world either. But
yeah, I'm careful who I tell in this aspect of my own personal safety. Like if I am somewhere, I will gauge the room and I will gauge how safe I feel within these group of people. And then if I feel safe, I'm happy to out myself.
yeah,
I don't, at the same time, I don't like just to everyone I mean, hey, I'm Samson, I'm trans. Like that's not something I just do.
Yeah. Don't say, hey, I'm Beck, I'm trans. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if it comes up in the conversation or anything, like, yeah, I'm trans.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't know if you feel the same, but I used to be ashamed of who I was, obviously, and I hid it, and I thought I was a freak and everything like that, as we all go through. And now I'm proud of who I am.
Yeah.
I'm so proud, and I'm proud that I'm one of these people that have had the strength to change genders, because changing genders is one of the hardest things anybody will ever do. I mean,
most definitely.
Look, and I'm not putting people that go to war and things like that, I'm not putting that down. That's obviously going to be really difficult, putting your life on the line in a job. But to change genders and come out to friends and family and know that you might lose them. And my biggest fear was losing my kids. Thankfully, I didn't. I'm so proud of being trans now.
Yeah,
So,
I feel that. I was lucky in the sense of like I knew that my family were going to be accepting, but I still had that fear factor at the same time. Like,
yeah.
well, what if? Because it was easy for me to come out as a lesbian, but what if they don't accept me for me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
I was lucky. I lost a couple of friends and good friends, but not many. And the unfortunate part, I lost my brother. Like he hasn't spoken to me for well over a year now. We're coming up to 2 years, I think.
yeah,
So I mean, that's sad. But look, I've got the love and acceptance of my sons and my granddaughters now. And that's just the world to me. So I'm fine with that now. It took a bit for me to let go of my brother, but I have. So yeah, it's an incredible journey though,
oh, definitely,
on
definitely.
both sides.
Lots of ups and downs.
Oh, well, there you go. That brings up another thing. So, emotions. Okay. I'll tell you a little story about me and then I'll ask you about
Yeah,
how you handle emotions. So as far as emotions go, I remember when I was starting HRT, hormone replacement therapy, my hormone doctor, Endo, he said, okay, Beck, well, just to let you know, and I'm giving you a warning, a heads up, you're going to go through a teenage girl's puberty. And my response was, I'll be fine. Like, you know me, I'm one of the most level-headed, straight thinking. I don't get anxiety or anything like that. Nothing bothers me. I'm one of these people, like, I'll be fine. And he's just like, yeah, we'll see. Oh my God. I went on the biggest roller coaster, which I'm still on, and bad at times. Like, emotions for me, like, it's incredible. Like, I remember in the past, I'd go to the movies with my wife, for instance, and she'd be crying, and I would be literally saying, "What's wrong with you? It's just a movie. Like, why are you crying?"
and now you get it.
I am not kidding. I have cried at a 30-second commercial that's sad. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And I have
He gave
done
him a
that.
piece of bread.
I know. It's like, I think for me, that's probably the biggest thing I've had to deal with. And I've struggled with, I suppose, is emotions. I've gone from, a very level-headed person to one that I get upset and I get wound up. I know that, and things like that. I also get wound up, I think, too, because I'm part of the LGBT community now. And when I see injustice and that, I want to fight it. I'm like, no, because
Yeah,
not everyone in our community is strong enough to fight it.
yeah.
So I want to fight for those
Being a
ones
voice
that
for
can.
the people that can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I think for me, the same but swapped, kind of like going through, teenage male puberty. That was interesting.
I bet it was.
It's settled down now because, I've been on hormones for almost 5 years. So, but not being able to cry, it really does happen. Like, it's a thing where, like,
Wow.
you go on this testosterone and you feel this like emotion, but you just don't cry. Like, it's just this switch that just like turns off. Like, I've learned to express my emotions a little bit more now. But when I first started, there was this block for about probably a good year, a year and a half, where I could not cry. And it would turn to more agitation because it was like, why the hell am I not able to cry? Like, I'm getting emotional. And then, but it would turn out to be like, it's just your body reacting to the new hormone that's in your system.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you ask probably about 10, you got 10 trans men in a room, and I bet half it, or if not more, won't be able to cry.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Like, I've asked other trans guys and they're like, yeah, same.
Yeah, I could cry now if I wanted to. So in 2003, my mum passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
And I remember it took me almost, not quite, but it took me almost a week to cry.
Yeah.
I just held it in, and I knew I had to cry. I had to like let it out.
Yeah.
And I just went, I wasn't living in a seaside town then, but I went to where the lake was, and I just sat in my car, put some songs on that reminded me of her, and I just let it all out. And I did. I bawled my eyes out. So yeah, men do cry, but not often, and they don't find it easy.
And that's that thing, that society's expectation too. Like, I don't know if you grew up with, I guess, toxic masculinity in society, where it's like men don't cry, men don't show their emotions. It's like in my family that wasn't encouraged. It was like you're allowed to show your emotions, but my dad was that typical Aussie bloke that was just like, I'm a real man, like I'm a tough bloke, like I don't cry kind of thing. And you know, just that typical male like aspect, I guess, male society's expectations of a man kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely the other side of taking testosterone was like, as I said, the teenage boy going through that part was just like, okay, this is a thing.
I know, and it's impossible to
Through the
describe.
roof. My libido's gone 10 times higher.
Yeah, and I lost a lot of actually for a long time. I had none, and I was like,
Yeah,
I've got some back now, which is weird, but and I don't know
yeah,
why. I really
yeah.
don't. In fact, I was worried that my hormone levels were really low, and I got a blood test done, and no, like my last few blood results of tests have shown that my testosterone level is undetectable,
Oh,
which
nice.
is
That's what you want.
I know, which is less than what a cis woman's is, you know. So
When,
no,
um,
right? So
yeah, even to this day, probably like a couple of days after my shot, I notice my sex drive higher.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And as I said, I've been on almost 5 years and it's still happening.
yeah.
So
I get the estrogen implant now. I'm ready for another one actually, or due.
yeah.
But the first time I had an implant, that's when I noticed my big growth in the girls. I'm
Yeah.
like, and I could feel it. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've already had some growth, but that's when I had a real spurt when I got the implant.
Yeah.
Like my breast was just so sensitive and
Yeah, I
tingly
bet.
and incredible feeling. I love my breasts.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
full C cup, which I'm blessed with. No surgery, full C.
Nice.
I got measured at bras and things. She goes, yeah, you're a 16C, honey. I'm like, wow.
Win.
I'm winning. So I don't know if I'd ever get top surgery. If I had abundance of money, yeah, maybe I might get a bit bigger. But for me, I just want to get the
Not if you got growth
JJ.
like that. That's like a good win for you.
Yeah, it is. Oh, look, I
Not a lot
know.
of the girls are lucky enough to get that.
I know. I know I'm definitely one of the lucky trans because, like I said, I'm short. You know,
Yeah.
I'm only a size 10 in women's shoes, so I can buy off the shelf.
Nice.
I mean, most women are smaller than that, but for a guy, I had small feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
I've
guess the
been
opposite.
very
You
lucky.
say you're lucky because you're short, but I think the dead giveaway sometimes, if you're looking for it, is me being short because it's like, oh, that guy's shorter than most guys.
Yeah, and I've noticed a lot of trans guys are short, obviously.
Yeah,
So, and where a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
trans women are very
Taller.
tall.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's definitely, and it is one way where we can get clocked, as they say. So,
yeah,
I'm normally the only time I get clocked now is just on my voice and
yeah.
everything. So, like, I've been at work. For those that don't know, I work in an adult shop as well as DJ. And one of my actually, and it works. It's a selling point, but it's also true. And I'm like, oh my God, when I get my JJ, this is the toy that I'm going to get. You know, like I've got a heap picked out that I'm going to get. I'm going to go nuts when I get that done. And that's when I've had girls say to me, oh my God, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, oh, when I get the operation down there, I'm going to get this toy. And they're like, what do you mean? And that's when I tell them I'm trans. They're like,
Yeah,
what? No way. And I'm like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's the biggest compliment. And I've had it several times now. So sometimes you think, oh, you're just being nice. You know, you just do that. You're just being nice. An old job I worked at, girls would say, oh, your makeup looks great, Beck, you know, and I'm like, yeah, is it really though? Like, do you mean that? And
yeah,
I said that
yeah.
to a few girls. I'm like, be honest. Like, don't say it looks great if it doesn't. And they said, no, you do really well, really good with your makeup. I'm like,
That's
thank you.
good.
Yeah. So
I guess working in an adult store as a trans person gives you an upper advantage too. I mean,
it does.
being like if someone walks in and you can talk to them, have a conversation with them, and then you can find out that maybe they come from a trans experience as well, and then you can kind of like comfortably out yourself to them to make them feel comfortable.
Exactly. I do that.
Yeah, I had a friend who worked in an adult store as well as a trans man, and he was the same. Like he was able to, comfortably out himself to make people feel comfortable.
I do that. My one, and I use it a lot. People and like, can I help you? And like people say, oh, I'm a bit nervous, and I'm like, don't be nervous. I'm in a dress and I've got a penis, like, and straight away they're just like, oh, great, So it works. It really
Yeah.
does work. And then
Yeah.
from there, I sell. So it is an advantage in that industry for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even actually, that I suppose, and this is a different in the battle of the sexes. We went off topic a little bit, I suppose, in spots. But as a DJ, and I've DJed my whole life. I started DJing when I was 14 in 1981. Did my first nightclub in '88 and never looked back. And I thought when I transitioned, that's it. That's the end of my DJ career. I really thought that, people are going to book me for weddings and stuff like that. And there was a disco company I was working for, a mobile disco company. I'm not going to name or shame.
Yeah.
But once I told the guy that runs it that I'm no longer going to DJ as a guy, I've never had another booking after it.
Yeah.
Okay. And whether it's transphobia or not, like he was fine with me coming out and everything. He never had a problem with me. I'd show up to his office as me, as Beck, and never had a problem. But when I DJ'd for him, I DJ'd as a guy. And obviously, when you're doing both genders, it's really hard. It just gets harder and harder and harder and harder. Like it just never gets easier. And that's where I had the point where I'm like, no more, I'm not DJing as a guy again.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be the end of my DJ career, but now that I'm part of the LGBT community, my DJ career's never been better.
Yeah.
I'm doing so many
party, honey.
Yeah, we do. But I'm doing a lot of LGBT clubs and venues, doing a lot of drag shows. And people that go to these drag shows and they'll have a 30th on or something, and they'll book me. So I thought, it would be the end of it, but no, it's apart from Corona. Like I was having my best year this year. 2020 was, I DJ'd just before it all happened, like a big gay day main stage. I had 2,500 people in front of me. It was incredible.
Wow.
Mel C was the headline and everything. It was an amazing day for me. And then it just all went crashing down thanks to COVID-19. And I lost 100% of my bookings. I've got none. I've just had a temp booking come in for early August. Obviously, they're waiting to see what happens, but it's for a drag show. They want to book me in as soon as they can. So hopefully it all picks up again once we can. I think once in venues we're allowed 100 people, then it's going to be a little different. We won't have those packed nights, but we'll still have nights.
Like just in talking about like the battle of the sexes kind of thing in the sense of working in an industry, I guess I used to work in warehousing, and most people would know that warehousing is very male-dominated industry. And I worked there pre-transition, but the jobs that you get assigned pre-transition is like very minimal lifting and like a packer or, a processor or something like that. But then after transitioning, you get like the forklift jobs and, the heavy lifting stuff. And it's just that difference. And you in yourself, you're like, well, if you hadn't known before, and then you're just like, I'm just getting assigned these roles now that like I always wanted to do. But now that because I'm, a man, I get to do these roles all of a sudden. And it kind of makes me sad in the sense of, because I could very much perform those roles as a woman, but I was never assigned them because they weren't the women's roles in the warehouse. So it can be a little bit sexist. Some workplaces can be sexist in that sense.
Oh, very much so.
But that was the biggest difference in a work-related sense for me.
Look, I've never worked in high corporate, but I've definitely heard of, people that have transitioned from either way, and they go from having very little respect to a lot of respect, or vice versa. In the corporate world, it's massive.
And the money aspect too. So transitioning from, I guess, female to male, you would ordinarily, if you're in a corporate job, you would ordinarily go, oh, sweet, I'm going to get, more money. But that's not really fair. And then the other way, you go, oh, crap, now I'm going to get less money.
And you're doing the same job.
Exactly. So there's still a long way to go in the sense of equality for everyone in the workplace and pay wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, and that's more the corporate world where you get paid more. Obviously, you know, if you work in a McDonald's, whether you're male or female, you get paid the same.
Yeah.
So you find you get more respect as a male?
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because I, suddenly have this male privilege. I shouldn't even do this because it's real. Male privilege is real. And it's something I never wanted, but I have to acknowledge that I have this privilege and I have this, existence now. And I do get treated differently as a man than I ever did as a woman.
Definitely.
I'm seen as the greater sex kind of thing. And it's like, it's sad to me because I never wanted that, but I have to acknowledge that I have that because you can't turn it off. It's just what society has done.
Yeah. The other thing, one of the differences I've found too is I've felt the glares of men checking me out. You know, I've copped, not many, but I've copped a couple of wolf whistles. And when I hear a wolf whistle, I'll look around and see if there's another girl. I'm like, they must be doing it to her. But I remember one time it happened and there was not another female in sight. I'm like, oh my God. I know. Look, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, boost the ego.
It's a very sexist sort of thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've found that and working in an adult shop too, I do get some very sleazy guys, some very creepy guys. And unfortunately being trans too, and I don't hide it, trans women are a fetish for a lot of men.
Same as trans men.
Yeah. I didn't realise it with trans men, but yeah, I guess it would be.
I'll talk to that in a second, but I'll let you.
Yeah,
finish.
so I've definitely found that where you feel almost intimidated. Like I don't feel as intimidated because I know I can handle myself, but creepy guys do creep me out. Where in the past I probably would have even just smacked them in the mouth.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't a real violent person, but yeah, I wouldn't take crap either. And I'd take.
You still shouldn't have to take crap as a woman. That's just like, not on.
No, it's not. But yeah.
I make this joke that my sexuality transitioned with me. So I'm a gay guy, and navigating the gay man world as a trans man is hard. It is hard because you do get that you're a fetish, you're that extra hole for a man to, put his willy in, to put it plainly. Or you get that feeling of you're disgusting because you have that part kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so when you find that in between where someone's just accepting and they're just like, yeah, I don't care what's in your pants, like whatever, you're a man kind of thing. That's what completes you in the gay community, like, because it doesn't happen a lot. You don't find that person that's just like, oh yeah, I'm okay with that. Especially considering, a lot of men in the gay community are all about dick. Oh,
yeah,
kind of thing. But
they are.
It's just natural, right? And I'm a bit like that myself, but it's hard. Navigating that world as a trans man is difficult.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, but opposite, obviously. Like, I've always been sexually and romantically attracted to women.
Yeah.
And when I transitioned, that didn't change.
Yeah.
Much to the surprise of my brother, actually, after one conversation, he's like, you can't have a girlfriend. You want to be a girl. I'm like, I'm not. It's called a lesbian.
Exactly.
Oh
yeah, he just didn't want you to because his fantasy would have been ruined.
Anyway, so I get a little bit down about it because I think I could end up being single for the rest of my life because I'm looking for the proverbial needle in a haystack. I'm looking for a lesbian, not only a lesbian, but a lesbian that accepts trans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not a lot of lesbians do. So,
yeah.
But hey, look, you never know. It happens. Last time I fell in love, it hit me out of the blue and it was with a trans woman and I'm not attracted to penis.
Yeah.
So, but where I fell in love was with the person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not their genitals, which I think is very important. So
it's it's a hard thing because, you know, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, like for me, so I went from obviously cis women as a identifying as a woman myself, so as a lesbian, and then as I transitioned, I started to have these feelings where I was like, oh, I'm starting to notice men in a different sense. Maybe I'm pansexual. Parts, not parts. Cool. And then it went to like after I had a breakup, it went to okay, I'm noticing men a lot more than I was. Maybe I should explore this. And then it was like, okay, yeah, definitely, I'm gay. But then I also like explored it with trans men too, because obviously they're men as well. But I found out that it was like I didn't feel fulfilled after I guess, had slept with a trans man. So it was definitely a mind thing for me. And it was like, I feel a little bit ashamed sometimes because I'm like, I should like that too. It's not, but I just can't turn it off. Like it's something that I can't turn off. And that's like when people say to you, oh, I'm attracted to you, but because you're trans, I'm no longer attracted to you or whatever when they find out. And it's like, well, hang on a second. It doesn't change me as a person. It's just like part of my existence, yeah, but I'm still me. And then, so for me to be like, no, I'm only attracted to cis men, it kind of like made me feel ashamed at the same time because I'm like, well, I should be attracted to men in general, not just cis men kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's hard to go through that in your own mind, let alone how other people are going to perceive it.
Yeah, and that gets down to that debate where people say, "Are you transphobic if you won't date a trans woman?" And no, you're not. You're not transphobic.
I feel like you can't help who you're attracted to.
Yeah.
And if you're deliberately going to go, no, I'm not going to date them because they're trans and they're disgusting, then yeah, that's transphobic. But you go, oh, I'm attracted to who I'm attracted to. And you can't help that.
Yeah.
And it's not transphobic. The transphobic part comes when you actually deliberately hate on trans people. That's the transphobic part.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you have that prejudice. So, boy versus girl again, clothing. You must love it now.
See, I was always allowed to wear what I wanted to wear anyway.
So you did say you're a butch lesbian.
I had that unique perspective even from a young child. I would always steal my brother's clothes and like wear what he wore. But I still remember in high school, like even my year 10 formal, I was like made to wear a dress and all I wanted to do was rock up in this bloody tuxedo or a suit. And that's all I wanted. And then my sister was like, no, it's your year 10 formal. You have to wear a dress. You got to do your hair and get your makeup done and your nails done. And I just like remember feeling so uncomfortable.
You would have been.
Just being like, I just want to be seen for who I am.
Yeah. And I remember my whole life growing up, all I wanted to do was wear skirts and dresses.
Yeah.
All I wanted to wear. And I just hid it so deep inside me. And then when I used to work in the call center for Westpac Bank.
Yeah.
And I got that job as a guy.
Yeah.
I left there as a girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so I transitioned while I was there for over 2 years. But I remember when I first started going to work as a girl, I would always dress really nice. I love corporate wear, I do. Mm-hmm. So I'd be in nice corporate dresses or skirts and stuff like that. And a lot of the girls there, who obviously were girls their whole life, they're like, oh my God, Beck, will you stop it? I'm like, what? Like, you're just putting us to shame. Like your clothing and you look immaculate, I'm like, and I'd say I'm making up for lost time.
Yeah.
I really am. All my life, I wanted to be able to dress like this. If I had been born with, female genitals, mm-hmm. I probably would dress very daggy and everything now. But now I like to look good. I like to present well. And also because I'm trans, I obviously feel that makeup helps with that.
Yeah.
Just like with the trans men, not all, but a lot of trans men seem to have beards because they're like, if I could finally grow one.
That's, I remember first thinking, oh, maybe I just want to be a woman with a beard. And I was like, maybe that's a thing, right? Like I could just,
Yeah.
put testosterone on my face and just magically grow a beard. And then I remember thinking, wait a second, that's not right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like being able to express myself through my facial hair or, I'm a bear. Like I literally have so much body hair. It's not a joke.
Ooh.
Yeah, like I have a lot of body hair. Works for me because I'm in the bear community, so it helps.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
But I remember friends just saying to me like, "Holy shit, dude! Like you have so much body hair." And I was like, "Yeah," and I didn't even want this much body hair. I just wanted to grow a cool beard. But I had no joke, no word of a lie. I had a full beard by 9 months on testosterone. So testosterone took pretty well to my body. So I'm lucky in that sense because I know a few people that have, been on 4 or 5 years and still have like barely anything. So I guess genetics plays a good role
It
in
does.
how you grow your facial hair. And
Because I was never really hairy as a guy. I always had hairy legs and armpits, and my chest hair wasn't abundant, but it was there.
yeah,
You could see it. And now there's one little spot that I get these 3 little stubborn hairs, and that's it. Nothing else really grows.
all about the tweezers.
I shaved them just before. But yeah, I feel them. I go, oh yeah, they come up again, and I just put the shaver over it, and yeah, they're gone. Occasionally, my ex-girlfriend used to love pulling them out with tweezers. I think it was a thing for her. She just, one of these people obviously would have loved popping pimples, but I don't have any. But yeah,
Oh, I love
if
those.
she saw a hair on my face, it'd be like, pluck, pluck, pluck. And I've had laser done, but I need to touch up. And obviously, because I transitioned later in life, there's a few grey ones, and obviously laser doesn't get the grey hair. So that's a pain for me one thing I do hate, because obviously we hate doing anything that reminds us of our old selves. And pretty well every day before I have to put my makeup on, I dry shave, but I'll shave.
Yeah.
Because there's that little there, I don't worry about putting shaving cream on. But yeah, every day I dry shave.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Got to get electrolysis done, but that's.
I think when you're talking in hair removal and stuff, the biggest change for me was my eyebrows. Like, my ex-partner used to wax my eyebrows for me every so often, and now I'm just like, cool, I can let them grow however I want them. They're more masculine shape now. The only thing I have to get rid of is the good old monobrow in the middle, but that's about it. Like, I don't do, apart from shaping the beard and trimming the beard every now and then, I don't do anything else. It's just let it grow. And I had some days my dad goes to me, oh my God, you got more leg hair than I do. I used to shave my legs every single day pre-transition. Every single day. I hated body hair and never wanted it. I shaved my legs, I shaved my arms and my underarms every day. And now I'm just like, no, let it all go. It's a gorilla.
Yeah, I wax my legs and I get my eyebrows waxed and I shave my arms. And yeah, I hate body hair. But even as a guy, when I was a guy, I had the body hair, but I was never a fan of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember when I was working in the mines, and a guy I worked with, and I noticed he had shaved arms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you shave your arms? And he goes, yeah, I hate body hair. Now,
my brother.
He's a blokey bloke. Yeah.
Yeah. My brother does because he is a tradie, but he also works out at the gym all the time, and the sweat just gets caught in his hair, so he just prefers.
Yeah, and that might have been his reason too.
Yeah,
You work in a pretty sweaty sort of job and dirty as well. So yeah, it was really cool though when he did that. I'm like, I'm going to shave my arms. Gave me an excuse.
He done it. I will.
Yeah, that's it. So, and I remember when I got both my ears pierced, I'm like, oh, this is great. And the thing, a lot of guys do have both ears pierced.
Yeah, it's funny how, when growing up, if you had, as a boy, if you had both ears pierced, you were seen as weak or second class. Or boys don't get both ears pierced, it's only one.
Yeah.
Now, who cares?
Yeah, I know. It's a lot more accepted. But I remember when I did get my ears pierced, it was a few days later, and my brother goes, nice ears, princess. And I've just gone, oh, thanks. And that was not long before I came out to him, which is the hardest thing I ever had to do, was come out to him.
Yeah.
I only did. I told my kids face to face, but I could only do it with him as many times as I tried under it with a few beers under the belt.
Yeah.
I did it via email with my brother.
Yeah. See, all my family live in Victoria, so I knew that I wasn't seeing them for a while, so I just set up this huge like group chat kind of thing and just told them like that. But I wish I had told them face to face, but it's all
Cool.
good.
All right, we better wrap this up. But before I do, is there anything else you want to add to the battle of the sexes?
I think we've covered pretty much everything. Hey, it's an interesting world living as both sexes, and it's hard to sometimes navigate your way through life. But I don't know. I think I find I have ups and downs, and some things are a challenge and others aren't. But overall, I'm much more happier living as a man than I ever was a woman. That's for sure.
And I'm much happier as a woman because, well, basically we're living who we always identified with. But yeah, like I'm definitely happy, much happier as a girl, although I'm much more emotional and my ups and downs. And you see my Facebook, I'm like, yeah, I'm a bit cray there. But yeah, look, I'm so much happier as a girl. But I actually feel we're privileged, and that's why I wanted to have this discussion with the trans man, because we're 0.6 of the population, although I think that's growing now, it's more accepted. And it's not because there's something in the water, as some people think, it's just that people know they can come out now and it's more accepted. And it's been talked about. Like when I was growing up, I had no idea I didn't know what transgender was till I was an adult. I really didn't.
Yeah, same.
So, and by then I was already married with kids. And I'm like, oh, gender dysphoria, there's a term for it. Like I had no idea. I thought I was a freak. And then obviously my first time I realized that boys could be girls, it was all that sexual stuff. We were a fetish and everything like that. And I thought, oh, maybe I'm meant to like men. And I'm like, no, I don't. But I thought maybe I'm meant to. So at being 0.6 of the population, I think we're absolutely privileged to have lived both genders, and we can see it more clearly, because you ask any guy and they're like, I can't understand women.
Yeah.
You ask any girl and they're like, I can't understand men.
It's funny because I lived as a woman and I still don't understand women.
I do. We're crazy.
You girls are a confusing bunch. You say one thing and you mean something else, and we're meant to understand.
I think with women, and this is good, we do let emotions but affect our decisions. We bring emotion into it, where men, they just don't. They don't get emotional. And that's why I said, as I mentioned earlier, with my hormone doctor, I'm the most level thinking, like straight down the line, don't let things get to me. I don't let emotions control my decisions.
Yeah.
Now I do. And I think about it all the time, and I think about where I never did. I think about other people's feelings. As a guy, I never really did. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was a bit of an asshole, actually. I just didn't care that much about other people. I wouldn't say I didn't care at all, but not that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I'm always thinking about other people's feelings, and that's why I do stand up for, women and trans people and stuff. And I'm just like, I care about them. I genuinely care, where I never really did. I was just happy being me. And I was definitely one of the boys. Like I drank beer and I had sex with lots of women.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I haven't had sex with a woman for so long. Like I haven't.
It's like riding a bike.
I know. And it feels weird when I do it, but that's the thing. I don't like getting erections now. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I hate what I have below.
Yeah.
I don't look at it. I try not to look at it when I wash it. It's like probably too quick to wash, but
But at the same time, there's more than one way to have sex with a woman.
Absolutely, there is.
Yeah. I think just touching on a difference between men and women, try the chair challenge. Have you done that?
No.
So this is no word of a lie. You go at a 90-degree angle over a chair 2 feet out from a wall, put your head on the wall and lift the chair up to your chest, and then try and stand up with the chair. Women can do it, men can't. We tried this the other night. I was with a couple of friends. No word of a lie, me and my other mate, who's also trans man, we could not do the challenge, and the two women there could. And we're like, this is rigged. Try it. I bet you can do it. I cannot. I've tried it with my housemate, who's also transgender.
Wow.
And she
I
can do
will.
it. I can't.
I'll Google it first so I can see a video of it and
Yeah.
know exactly what to do. But yeah. Well, look, thank you very much, Samson. I will obviously
No
have to
worries.
edit this a bit, maybe, but
That's all right.
pretty long. But hey, it's a worthy long discussion because it really is. That's why I wanted to
Yeah.
do it. So thank
Yeah.
you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
No, my absolute pleasure. And I hope to, obviously we'll catch up again in the future, but
Yep.
I definitely hope to have you on more chats because it's been fun.
Definitely. Thanks, Becky.
No worries. See ya.
Bye.
So I forgot at the very end after talking to Samson, because I was in a rush to do something, the chat went much longer than I expected, to say thank you for watching. Thank you very much, Samson, for chatting with me. It was really interesting and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And thank you all for watching all the way to the end. And if you could please do me the biggest favor, take 10 seconds out, hit the little bee in the corner and subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I do upload new stuff. And give it a like or leave a comment too if you like. That'd be fantastic. And I will see you all next week. Bye.